Welcome to Wake Up with Toastmasters. My name is Jean Williams. I'm your district director for District 115, which is Southern Nevada and a little piece Utah. And I have a special co-host today, Dana Wall-Oakley. Hi, Dana.
Hi, Jean. How's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
So today we are talking about leadership, and I'll have to preface this by saying I knew about Toastmasters pretty much all my life, and I always knew it was about speaking because why not? And I've made this joke, but it's not a joke. I never thought about the listening part, but I certainly didn't think about the leadership part. And so that was the one that threw me for a loop, is that there's leadership. I mean, it makes sense now that I'm in, but looking from the outside of that, how can I learn about leadership from Toastmasters? That doesn't make sense. It's a speaking group. But it started with the club and having officers in the club, and then it goes from there. So what was your first experience with leadership in Toastmasters?
Well, within about a month of becoming a member, our secretary up and moved, and they asked me to take her place. And I, not knowing then how to say no, I don't have any idea what I'm doing, and I don't know what that is. And I said, sure. And I've been an officer pretty much every term since that time. And last month was 18 months or years. I've been a Toastmaster, 18 years.
Wow.
So I've been an officer of some kind in the club, in the area level, in the division level, at district level.
What's your
Over the
favorite
years.
club? What's your favorite club office that you've served in?
Secretary. I've become, since becoming a Toastmaster, I've become a lot more, shall we say, organized. I'll use the nice word. And I like writing down everything about a meeting. Who's there and who isn't there, and who said what and who's in what role. I like doing that, and that's what secretary does. It takes down the motions and writes down the officer reports, and I really like doing that. When I'm in a club that I'm not secretary, I do that anyway.
Were you an organized person before?
No.
See, so Toastmasters will teach you organizational skills.
And I'm a procrastinator. I still kind of am a procrastinator, but not as much, because I have become more organized, and I love spreadsheets.
I do. I like Excel. I do.
Yes. So leadership has really taught me organizational skills, I would say. I don't know if I would have gotten that to that level if I hadn't been called upon to be a club officer. And then before I was an area director, I was asked to be a chief judge for a division. And those were the years when you were chief judge for the division, you did all the contests. They didn't find different people for this area contest and that area contest, and then the division contest. You were the chief judge for all of them. And I'd only been a Toastmaster for about a year and a half. But I figured it out. I said, okay, sure. And I really had a great time with it. And this was the days before. So the division governor at the time wanted me to come with her to all of the DECs and all the trainings. And that was when we were part of California. And I would go on these road trips with her and some of her area directors or governors to California to do these trainings. And I didn't know, as the chief judge, I wasn't required to do that. I didn't need to be there. But it was fun to take the road trip and do some training. And I really enjoyed that year of being chief judge. So that was another leadership opportunity, getting outside of my club, getting outside of myself, learning or meeting others, being a part of a division that I wasn't familiar with, because my club was in D and I was the C chief judge. And we only had C and D at that time. We were part of California. And it was really a revelation. And it started my shell had been cracked. It started the peeling away of the shell. It really did. So I would say take those opportunities outside your club whenever you have a chance, whether you want to or not, whether you're scared or not. Because then I was area director, and I agreed to be on a radio show and unbeknownst to me, met my future husband and make those opportunities, whether they're going to scare you or not.
No, well, you're right. Even taking a club level office,
Mm-hmm.
and you're used to your club. Maybe you have a small club, maybe a big club, but you're used to your club and the people in your club, like a family. And even taking a club office, you're going to training and you're seeing all these other people that are there, because so right away you're getting outside your club. All of a sudden you're like, wait a second, there's like 10 people in my club, and here's a meeting with like 50 people. This is a little much. And then you're right, but you get a little more comfortable with that, and you get a little
Yep.
more comfortable with that. And then one day you say, well, I'm getting close to my distinguished Toastmaster. What's this area director gig?
Right.
And that's the person who
Right.
oversees 3, 4, or 5 clubs.
Yes.
And that was I'm a little unorganized. So it was all of a sudden seeing I'd go to all the clubs and I'd meet the people, and I would try to like make notes about each different club, because you're going to different clubs and meeting all these people, and I'm not fantastic with names.
Yeah.
And I had to
Right.
pull out my little cheat sheet. Okay, oh yes. And then pretty soon after visiting them so many times, they were family too. So it was like
Yes.
meeting a different part of the family you didn't know, but then there were my clubs, and having to turn them over to the next area director. No, you be nice to my club.
You better treat him right.
And I can still tell you the names of all of them, because it's kind of funny, but the clubs rearrange sometimes, and we've lost one of them, we've gained clubs, but it's still that. But for me, I didn't feel that much like I was a leader until I got to division director, which is the step above area.
Yes.
And all the like area director, you are in leadership, but you're more of a liaison between the clubs and the division director. So you're bringing information, you're taking information, and you're helping.
Yeah.
But it isn't the same. Whenever there's a problem, division director, what do we do? Like,
division director, yes.
Well, I don't know. Let's wing it.
That's true. That's the position where you're actually a leader of several. The area director position really isn't. You're right. It's not necessarily a leadership position. It's a liaison, and you get to go out into the trenches, as it were. The division level, and I have not done that one yet, but I have been in district offices a couple of different times. Administration manager, well, I really have a hard time saying that word. It's secretary. District secretary.
Well, I think it's
I like being secretary.
I think area director, you are leading, but you're leading a program. And the division director, you're leading people.
That's a good way to put it.
Back to club growth, if you keep going up, you get to club growth director, and again, you're leading a program.
Okay.
And you get to program quality director, leading a program. Then you go to district director, back to leading people again. So you get this a bunch of it. So yeah, it's fun.
That's a good way to put it.
It's either one's leadership, but just one's leading and some people feel more comfortable with a program. Some people feel more comfortable leading people. So that's nice. Oh, and if you're thinking about being a division director, it's not too late to apply, because they're taking applications now.
Ooh. But I've already been asked to be district secretary again next year by if he gets elected, our incoming district director.
Oh man. Well, so Sage Leaders. Okay, Sage Leaders is our club. It's an advanced club.
Yep.
And specializing in leadership. So one of the requirements as an advanced club is that and I know this because I'm the club president right now, but you have to be a club officer, at least a club. Now it could be sergeant at arms, it could be a club secretary, any club office. and you can join Sage Leaders. And you have been there from the beginning, though, at Sage Leaders.
Yes. Yes. One
So-
of the charter members. Yes.
So tell me what was involved in forming it? What was the idea?
Oh.
And tell me about those conversations.
Good grief. I was peripherally involved with the forming because I was recovering from a surgery at that time. And I did attend the meetings where we talked about our mission. What vision did we have for Sage Leaders? And one of the visions that we had for Sage Leaders was to share our knowledge with the incoming team. If you had questions, there were so many times area governors would come into their position and have absolutely no idea how to do it. They had all these questions that weren't getting answered. And our thought was, we have among us combined over 130 years of Toastmaster experience combined. And we would love to share that knowledge or help these incoming officers not to feel so floundering. We wanted to answer the questions that they had before they took office, because the first district officer training doesn't occur until after you've been in the office for a few weeks at the very least. And you're supposed to start July 1st and you're like deer in headlights, wounded pigeon on the side of the road. You have no idea what to do. And we thought Sage Leaders were sage. It means wise. We would love to share, not tell you what to do, but answer your questions. And that was part of our mission. Our vision was to come to us. You can sharpen your leadership skills by asking experienced district leaders. Every single one of us has been in every single one of those positions, at least. Well, not every, you understand what I'm saying? This person's been in these positions and this person's been in these positions. We have an international director as a member right now. He was also a region advisor. So any officer position that you can think of, we have somebody who's been there.
Yeah.
And he does have designs up the line. Eventually, he has a goal of going up the line at some point in the future. And we do have others. So we do have that experience. And that was our goal, is to if you have questions about how to do your job as area director, division director, etc., we would love to be able to answer that for you. And we have discussion table meetings, and we've had those since the beginning, where we decided we're going to have a meeting that will have a discussion table, have a speaker talk about a topic, and then break out into little groups and answer those questions. We also, at the very beginning, had opened ourselves up to, before Pathways, we had advanced manuals, and you had to do like better speaker series or better leader series, and they were 20 to 60-minute speeches. A normal club meeting doesn't really allow for that unless you finagle things and you do a special meeting. We have that ability because we meet in the evening. We start at 6. We have that ability to put in a longer speech time. And so we opened that up. That was one of the things we offered right away, was if you have that longer speech to give, you need to do a 60-minute presentation / workshop. Come give it at Sage. We'll do an open house. We'll invite people to come hear that topic, because I'm sure there's people out there that want to hear it. I did one on how to conduct productive meetings. It was a 60-minute workshop where you have interaction with the audience. That's one of the things that we still do that. We're online only right now, and we don't have any takers. We'd love to have people come in and give those and allow them the venue to give that longer speech if their club regular club meeting doesn't allow it. I mean, most club meetings are only an hour. And if you have an hour presentation to give, you really don't have time for that longer speech, which is one of the things that we offer.
Yeah. Well, also one thing that I liked about Sage, because I joined Sage pretty much right as I became an area director. No, before I became an area director, but
Mhm.
it was, you think ideally, the person who's your supervisor of
Mm.
sorts is the one who teaches you things, but there's some leaders that are very hands off.
Mhm.
They, for whatever reason, either,
Mhm.
it's a volunteer organization, maybe they have other demands. Otherwise, that's their leadership style. And here was a club that I could ask. There's no stupid question, but I could ask those questions, those fundamental questions.
Right.
What am I supposed to be doing now? When I
Yes.
walk in to visit a club as an area director, what do I say? And it's kind of like you said, it's a month before training. I know I wanted to get out there and meet my clubs, and
Mhm.
there's no supervisor to ask. And so here was a whole club of people. Well, when I did it, I did this, well, I'm more outgoing and I did this. Well, I'm more shy and I did this. And it
Mhm.
was nice to hear all the different approaches and all the different ways to do things. And there's always that safety net, because it's,
Mhm.
the people that are in that club in Sage are there because they want to help. That's plain and simple. Because
Yeah.
there's other clubs that they can give their speeches at. There's other clubs they can be themselves leaders. But here is a club of people that are
Mhm.
just interested in helping other leaders, emerging leaders. And even if you're thinking about being a leader, maybe you're a brand new Toastmaster and you're thinking about becoming Sergeant at Arms later, or
Mhm.
maybe you're in a big club where becoming a club office is very competitive. So this still would be a club to check out, because you can come and say, I'm not an officer yet, but
Mhm.
I've got my eyes set on this and I really want this, but my club has 40 people and it could be another year before I have the opportunity. How can I make
Right.
myself more competitive?
Mhm.
And here's another a club that can help you there. Or the
Mhm.
flip side, maybe your club's struggling and what can I do? What are some creative ideas? And we're going to help
Ex-
you.
Exactly. Now we are an advanced club, and in our bylaws it says to be a member, you have had to have been an officer of a club at some point in the past. You don't have to currently be an officer. You do have to have been an officer at some point.
Yeah.
And uh, uh, we have helped club officers with those questions as well. Not just area directors and above, but club officers. Like you said, how do I be sergeant at arms? I'm supposed to carry all this equipment around. I'm supposed to plan an event. I didn't know that. What do I do?
Yeah. And
We
sometimes it's the things you just really don't know. I mean,
exactly.
like Sergeant at Arms, I'd seen Sergeant at Arms. You see, I was in a club where, well, Windjammers, Wednesday morning, 7:30,
Yep.
where people, where you see them, we were in person and they're lugging in like 4 loads of stuff, because Windjammers is an extremely organized club. And just, so
Mhm.
I knew that part. But when I went to a contest and the Sergeant at Arms had a whole different job. Here, the
Yeah.
Sergeant at Arms was like putting masking tape on the stage to put props in exactly the right spot. And they're saying, oh, this fellow's the best, the best Sergeant at Arms in the district, or this
Yeah.
lady's really good at crowd control. And I thought, oh, okay, now there's something else to learn.
Yes. Completely different position. Yeah. When you start talking about contests, those leadership roles are different.
Mm.
They are. Yeah.
But
I
also, if you think about it,
was
being a
trying to.
contest chair is, in a sense, an office. It's not a recognized club office, but a contest chair takes pretty much all the
Mhm.
same leadership skills.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it's a whole bunch of stuff. You have to know what all the different jobs. It's kind of like a club president, but just for a contest.
Right. Right. It is a leadership position for sure, because you're in charge of making sure that it runs smoothly. So you make sure you tell these people, this is what that's supposed to do, and this is what that's supposed to do, and this is my vision, this is what I want, and then you make sure it happens. You can use being a contest chair as a leadership project. The pathways have these leadership projects in level 4 and 5, You absolutely could use contest chair, read through that path or project to see, how you're supposed to be a leader, or come to Sage and ask. We've had people do that. When you're an area director, you have to put on a contest. So you can choose to do it yourself, or you can choose to get a contest chair, but you could use that project to do the contest.
It could actually be a HPL, high performance leadership project, or a distinguished Toastmaster project.
Yeah, it could
depending
be.
on what you set up. If it's a real basic where you're just kind of an area contest, I've seen it done where it's just at a club meeting where the other clubs come in, and so 2 or 3 clubs come together, they have their contest, and it's just real quick and easy. Maybe somebody brings a pizza and that's kind of it. It's kind of the low scale. Then I've seen them become huge productions. Last year we had, decorations and themes and refreshments and you name it. And they had the committee that handled the decorations and the committee that handled refreshments, and therefore it took on all the aspects of an HPL.
Yes, it absolutely can, depending on how much you want to do, right? And if you do have questions about that, we're not trying to tell you what to do at Sage. We're a sounding board, and we can answer those questions. Between the members, we have the answers, or we can share a story that may help you figure out the answer. Right.
So sometimes for me, it's just a lot of times, like for me, I would just get overwhelmed. Like, okay, what else is going to pop up? What else didn't I know? It's one of those when somebody walks up and says, "You did get that memo out to everybody." Yeah, you bet.
Sure.
Oh, sure. Just this constant, and it's so nice to have you go to a meeting where you can say, I goofed. I didn't get the memo out. And there's always someone that happened to me. Let me tell you what I did to fix it.
Exactly. Like Jesse, who constantly talks about his very first area contest, where the person that was supposed to let them into the venue never showed up. And here he has like 40 or 50 people waiting to do an area contest, and they have no venue. So they convoyed to one of the members' houses who had plenty of room in her living room, and they put on the area contest. You really, you have to think creatively and think on your feet. And sometimes when you're in the panic moment, you can't. So, that's
but I think it's just that reassurance, going somewhere where somebody says, take a deep breath. It's okay. It happened to me too.
Yes, exactly.
And finally, wait a second, my tragedy is not unique. No, your tragedy is unique, but it's similar to my tragedy.
I love it. That's a great phrase. I like that. It happened to me too. Here's what happened, and take from that what you will.
Yeah, it is. It also that right now some of our clubs are struggling, and it's nice to have a club to come to where let's brainstorm.
Yes.
What can we do? We've had people come to us from very small clubs that are really struggling with members. Many times it's corporate clubs that the hiring is frozen, or department changes, or just any number of things. Corporate clubs are a little more vulnerable in that respect because they're corporate members, and anything can happen in the company. And they've come to us, okay, I have no idea, but right now we went from like 22 members and now we're down to 12. Yes. What do we do? And hearing, among us, because we have people who are from corporate clubs, we have people from community clubs, we have people from just, you name it, the clubs that are spread out, clubs that are real contained, and just hearing, and now the hybrid or online or in person, and we've got a variety of those. So having somebody to come to and say, okay, I just got elected Sergeant Arms, and I have no idea how to set up a hybrid meeting. Oh, well, we can help you. We can help you.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that is something some of us know how to do well. And Windjammers does hybrid very well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm the one who sets up the equipment.
Well, well, especially with the contest season coming up, we have area directors who are calling. I'm sure they're calling Ken Richardson as well. He's our program quality director, as you know, from
Mhm.
Tuesdays. But they're calling me also and saying, okay, I have no idea how to set up a camera. Like,
Mhm.
okay, let's find someone who can help you. Let's find someone who knows how to do that.
Yeah.
Because there's
Yeah.
always someone who has the skill you lack.
Right.
It's
Right.
getting everybody together.
Yeah. And that's our main focus at Sage Leaders, is being that resource. We just want to help. We're not trying to tell people what to do. We're not trying to say this is how you have to do it, because it's always been done that way. We are a resource, a sounding board, and we offer our experience and just give you the story and let you take from that what you will. We're not trying to say this is the way it has to be, because it always has been.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Yeah. So
yeah.
that's what we're trying to get away from, right? Because things change. I mean, we're in this new environment where hybrid is a thing now. Who knew what hybrid even meant more than 2 years ago? You know what I mean?
Right.
And so things have to adjust, and things do change. And if you don't adjust with them and change with them, then you get left in the dust. And we're trying not to do that, trying to help people that are unsure about how to go about things, and answer those questions.
Well, one thing I also like about the format of Sage Leaders is there's other clubs that are advanced and they're limited to people in a certain office or above, but it's really like any other club once you get through the door.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, speeches about whatever the person's speaking about. But I love that Sage Leaders really does focus on leadership all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just a 2 to 3 minute educational moment, we have a 3 to 5 minute leader lesson.
Leader lesson. Yep.
And it's about leadership, or there'll be a theme about I think, what was it, how I love leadership for Valentine's Day.
Yes.
But it was
Our vice president of education always tries to put leadership in the theme in some way. Yeah.
But it's nice though, because even the theme of course is always about leadership, so you can't go wrong just giving any kind of speech about leadership. But it also really makes you think, because I guess realizing that even as a sergeant at arms, you're leading something. So you're in a leadership position, because sometimes people say, well, if I go through sergeant at arms and I become secretary, then treasurer, then can I finally then get into a leadership position? Well, you have been.
You have
but
been.
you don't realize it. And sometimes there's other times that I've had leaders that were just very hands off. I've also had micromanaging leaders. And sometimes it's difficult to practice being a leader when everything's being done for you.
Yes.
And so I know Sage was often my sounding board. Okay, I don't get to do anything. Okay, well, calm down. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But what you can do this, you can do that. And here's some ideas. And also the tough conversations. Have you thought about talking to that person and telling them how you feel?
Yes.
And this is my experience when this happened to me. And all of a sudden, wait, this happened to you too? Yes, it did. And what I did was,
yeah, exactly. And, and hopefully it helps, hopefully people can take that information and, whether they do what we suggest or not, hopefully they have some resolution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think sometimes it's just knowing that you're not alone.
Yeah.
Even if nothing changes, even if nothing else changes in the situation, is knowing you're not alone.
You're not alone.
Even if you're because it's one extreme, or that if you're being micromanaged, knowing you're not alone. If you are being just left alone, and that was, I think, harder I didn't like either situation, but I think that was harder for me. Just what am I supposed to be doing? Because I'd go to my supervisor of sorts and say, what do I do now? And the answer was, you're the area director, figure it out. Okay, well, that didn't help me any.
Right. I mean, there's a manual, but it's only this small, and you have a whole year of service to do.
Right.
Ah.
I found a mentor along the way, and then I got into Sage Leaders also. I've been in Sage Leaders, but it was finding a mentor.
Yeah.
This sounds really odd, but I had heard about, starting in my career, way back, I was in my 20s, early 20s, and I'd hear people say, oh, my mentor this and my mentor that. Well, in my job, when you first hired in as a trainee, you got a coach. And your coach helped you to make sure you didn't get fired, but also to make sure you learned all the skills, and your coach was there. And then at some point you graduated and you didn't have your coach.
Yeah.
And when I heard about people having mentors, my brain kind of went, oh, I see. You need remedial help. I did because that's all I knew.
Wow.
So I that's what I knew. So I would hear people say, oh, I have a mentor for this and I have a mentor for that. And I thought, well, one day you'll graduate. I didn't say it. I just thought
You're just
one
thinking
day
it.
you'll graduate and you'll be successful. So then time passed and I would hear more, and I didn't give it much credence. Then when I got into Toastmasters, find you a coach and not a coach, but find a mentor. And I
Find
thought,
a
well, that's okay.
mentor,
I feel comfortable. Find a mentor. And I started realizing, and that's what Sage was, just a whole group, a whole club of mentors.
Yeah.
And they would say, well, which do you want one of us to be your mentor? And I thought, wait, maybe mentor isn't a bad thing. It's not a negative thing. Like I'd seen it all those years. It was this positive thing. So yeah, we are a club of mentors for you. We're a club of help.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. We'd love to be. I did post, I wasn't able to post the actual flyer, but I copied the information from the flyer and I posted it in the comments. We meet the second and fourth Tuesdays from 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. So we're an hour and a half, and we can go a little bit longer if you do need to put in a longer speech. We do have our discussion table meetings. We try to do once a quarter. We should be scheduling one coming up here for next month. If you have an idea for a topic you'd like to hear about, put it in the chat or the comments, and we'll look at all those comments and decide on one, and then invite you all to a discussion table meeting. They're really fun, and we have somebody who talks about the topic and in a speech, and then we have discussion table, and that's open to ideas from the audience. I see Jennifer's been watching, and she's been to one. So hopefully she enjoyed it, and we can pass the word. We'd love to have more leaders in our club, and we just really enjoy being. And I like that you said mentor. That puts that in a different perspective, more or less, that we'd like to be mentors. Yeah. Or if not, if you don't want a whole mentor and you just have one question that you'd like answered, come ask us. Somebody will have the answer.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So you're right. Sage Leader second and fourth Tuesday. You said that. Wonderful. And the other thing is right now for leadership, your club officers have probably changed already, the club officers have already been selected. But right now we are picking people who want to be district leaders starting in July. So if you're interested in any of those positions, area director, division director, club growth, program quality, district director, wherever you have your sights on, get your application in by the end of March, I think it is.
I think you're right. Who's in charge of that? Who do they do that?
Steve Goldstein is in charge of that. So you'll reach out to Steve Goldstein, or if anybody can make sure you get to the right person. But we are past time.
Oh, no.
I know we are 3 minutes over. And now we're not being good, timely Toastmasters. We need to mentor each other on time.
Yeah. Should have had a flashing. It's time.
But thank you, Dana, for coming. I'm talking about Sage Leaders. But we
You're
do
welcome.
have this little hidden gem of a club. Find it Tuesdays and second and fourth
Tuesdays. Yes.
Come to it. Just walk in the door. Even if you're not already a club officer, you still pop in, talk to us. We will make sure that we get you the help you need to at least answer the questions you might have. People will stop in sometimes and say, what club office should I run for? Would love to talk to you about that.
Yep.
So with that, though, we will thank you. Thank you again. Oh, any last words before I
No,
cut
I
you
had
off?
I had a great time. We could talk about this stuff for hours. Yeah, that's, I really enjoy it. And like I said, I've been an officer ever since my very first month as a Toastmaster. And I'm in 5 clubs now. And guess what? I'm an officer in every single one of my clubs.
And the district.
And the district. Yes, exactly. I
You're
must
adding-
like it.
You're adding to that 100 years of
Of experience.
We've got
Yes.
to re-add our numbers up.
Yeah, we do. We do. Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you,
Thanks, Jean.
everybody. You'll see Ken Richardson tomorrow morning on Wake Up with Toastmasters. No,
Saturday?
Tomorrow. See that I got my Mondays and Fridays are flip-flopped. Okay. Well, I will see you Monday morning. Mark your calendar Monday, and we'll go over all the fun events and talk about our contests also. So thank you. And thank you again, Dana. And I will see everybody on Monday. Thanks.
Awesome.